Sound. An unpleasant, screechy noise breaks each minute dull, from an open mouth and an empty skull. Liberated of the flesh, it travels the distance, as the deaf wind listens to its resonance. It echoes like a thunder, abrupt, short, clear, like a growling injured beast. His own roar it flees, hides amongst words. The headless wind moans, as if my name it calls, traveling through tones. I recognize certain rhymes, my name is called out. I release my mute tongue and say it out loud, as if forging a poem. The wind I tried to out-yell. Nature hushed all around. I become a sound. Poetic fight. Enhanced resonance strengthens my grip, encircles my neck, a shriek is ripped, and down my tonsils rolls a formal sound, somewhat like a roar of a wild hound, stretching over minor keys. It moans and screams in plight. It could render an octave, but it lacks poetic fight. So it squeezes my other hand, like a conductor on a stand. Chorus drags, hear sound, I give you my hand. Companions of words. Bent over the table, word surplus grew old, took its aging bones on entangled road. Wait a minute exclamation, our ears are still ringing, riveted in silence, our vocal cords compliant. Constricted harmonies are nailed down too quiet, crumbling the flat crown so the sigh doesn't trick them. Over the breath heard, louder than holler, a companion of words. Wedged deeply down into bony hemisphere, through silence it yelled, echo curved by the wind. The blind wind got tired, stopped prosecuting quiet, so the deaf carry on music, each to their own south. Decisive moment. I come out of my profile, stretching out the margin. I give voice to my beliefs, organize them alphabetically, awaiting news from subconsciousness as they come in excerpts to finally unhide insomnia's other side. I sort out all events in meaningful groups, leave them hanging high on the brain cell hooks. I lead them off track at the spiteful star left, and let them unhide insomnia's other side. In trouble they're put in, till I lose all my will. From my imagination expelled, reluctantly my will leads me, where trouble's intent is held. My eyes closed I see, a prisoner of night I'll be. That decisive moment has gone off the track, and it's not coming back. Hesitation. Deliberately swerved, bounded by commas, found in a problem of a manic grandeur. I sharpen my memories with the sidewalk bark, completely destroyed by two-headed talks. This whole hesitation leads to a conclusion, your angling obsession like a fake full stop. Sway out your bearing, move back from your footing, lean without gravity onto basic ABC. And look obsession right in the eye. Smart one gives way, stupid one does crime. Exclamation mark. In the open view, where silence is still, a friend a semicolon opens his mouth, along with citations marking where to jump, and reconcile eyes when meeting with a syntax. Those concealed sighs, no citation shows, blame exclamation marks for starting all wars. So I'm left to wonder, as long as I breathe, should we censure exclamation marks and their shameless deed? I must find a key to unlock the peace before this emptiness comes to a cease. Upon the horizon, wars remain mystery. Exclamation mark writes, history. Around civilization. When I skip a century and leave my skin behind, looking for a sign of man that is more than just a wreck, curiosity holds me back, my vision lacks elation, and eyes roam suspiciously around civilization. I write down that name with my own right hand. Guests of future are not found. They disappear with the sound. Offspring cannot stand alone, withered before they are grown. I am but a reflection in the fossil bone. Selfish men beware of those shadows lost, before the devil asks you, which way should he go? The estimate. Big-eyed wonder flew under my nose. Where it came from, I don't know, or what wild beast chased after it, but it has in such a hurry that the wind was sorry for not having time to look up to the skies. Shortly after they ran by, splashing around, I reckoned they wouldn't stop till they searched the grounds of this pretty land of ours and catch the big-eyed wonder before no one tames it down. Thrown into this haste, I jump in the race. I ran so fast, I reached and passed them. I ran so fast, I touched my wonder's back, but the closer I got, distance seemed greater. Too much of you here, 'twas a dog's estimate. To the point. Waiting for me as soon as I slip. A fertile thought, a word. Bigger than big, dressed in Wednesday. In a mannered way, I greet her good day. Where have you been for so long? Where are you going today? I am going nowhere, moving towards, to wait for nothing, 'cause I see it's gone. Oh, you must be somewhat mistaken. Nowhere was never anywhere taken. And if someone asked me alone, nowhere was never there when it's gone. When this is nothing and all is well, emptiness is all we know. Let heavens watch me from underneath. I want to be smaller than small. When I look at things that I can align, nothing was ever really mine. And that is all I can tell you for now, while echo chews silence deliberately, without a sound. Around chemistry. The future is brain and control of dreams. You close your mouth and head smaller appears. If you close your eyes, Whole man is gone. All that can fit is sentimental skull. Further from knowledge, you see nothing though. Made of rain and atoms of sorts, you say goodbye to cuts in your souls. Lines advance, head beholds on, you left your neck open wide. Like a dispersed road, you stretch through the universe, leaving turmoil behind, which follows you like a curse. Punished by God and creatures alike, with letter A, your fate is stuck. O about zero. Uncovered, cross-eyed look jumps on my face. Frightened to freeze, my eyes I squeeze. Is my head testing, black humor in my brain, or do I feel sleepy when fatigue is drained? When asleep, that same head becomes a double hero. I'm sure then it says, O agrees with zero. I do not understand. Can you say it better and make some room for the new O letter? So I tried to comprehend, writing sun with my hand, placing O under bed, hanging 6 over 9. Let my head unscrew to color the hue. It utters no words, only stillness is heard. Fascinated by such find, head kills me with its mind. Zero about O. Colors sweat in the silence of my head. Darkness needs a comma, alpha, beta, gamma. I depart from impression, naming nouns in succession. N holds numbers without pause, jumping out of my jaws. I release S from sound, giving Fs all around. Declinations split apart, and I'm back to start. I arrange some 2s in a perfect row. V peaks on its own, Z stands alone. While period controls the burst, I look back at the first. First is number 1, second 2 has 1. When first comes too close, second faster goes. They invite a third and spell out a word. Still they do not matter till I hear them utter through my own baritone or another half tone. Break them into fractions, justify my action, calculate what they convey, impulsively I say, A. Then I pause for a while, counting eyes in a file. Hiccups make me ask, who's there? I collect what I dropped, while I count my thoughts, solve problems at random. When solution arises, I settle where I find it. Surprised, then I attack. I expect my eyes back. I display what I say, and the poet is fortunate by the force of argument. When black, white, major reverts to future tense. It seems letters in instances ignore meanings and differences. Utter idle hands connect and paint a picture perfect. Comment of O. Disharmony is out of tune, facing boredom soon. Someone has to try and manage this incoherent language. All the letters running free, walking up from tiny dream, rushing horizontally around the table. So we took our guns and set off at random, with our faces indistinct and our eyes stiff. When I realize in clear mind, our sanity resigned. Calculating such a sum, no one bothers none. The Little Book of Riddles. It begins with non-existence, moans a long poetic fight, and following in unison is Fiesta of the Hooligans. I close my eyes and begin to see, sounding of sharp major key, thoughts from a black hole condense into the future tense. New colors start to separate while I measure all their dreams. While ideas dissolved, I create, so I exist. My head makes an appointment with the paper shrink. Left eye is watching me, right one gives a blink. Agitation catching up from confusion in my skull. As a poet I am conferred, so to myself I am absurd. Constantly daydreaming of metaphors diverse, what life made complicated I am making even worse. This stanza needs an actor, this line a good voice, this syllable needs good rhyming, for this rhyme a bass is choice. While I separate the connected, small particles in diffusion, disagreement with idea finds its own resolution. Where black is a destiny, while complaining to the gray, where rain falls in vain, wind keeps draft constrained. Hidden stays one single verse, among the rest so diverse. Of high risk and low frequency, concealed stays behind intelligence. Fiesta of Hooligans. Excuse my idiotic solutions, I am not an educated verse, said the father of poetry, and from the paper regressed. All novelty was invented through the wheels of history. I announced firm and straight, I will not reiterate. As soon as this letter was charted, the smile did a backflip, and the playful Fiesta of the Hooligans started. All neatly arranged, on paper they stay. The syllables started regrouping when music starts to play. The silence grabs the sound, turns it right arm around, while the left follows neatly, alphabetically. As the head of the clan, letter A is referred, to create an and as the face of byword. There's no gift without talent, if is penciled in, E left with no element, nothing yet agrees. O is still on trial, his harmonies in denial. In the midst of chaos sits, zero chasing after it. I is used in case, making punchline vital. T so created, tryouts for an idol. S retreats silliness, peeking through concerns. Letter Z resonates in the back of terms. Small f is pushing through, V helps the elevation, and the moment is gone at new word creation. With this new disgrace in alphabet's face, excited I stand to give draft a hand. Break words into type, follow letters in hype. Life stares me in the eye, so I say hi. When all is deformed, I shout out in conclusion, complicating things more, confusing the confusion. Subject is without an object, verb without its action, adjective without an idea, period stayed in the rear. I wait in blank space, while thoughts are misplaced, while solution is customized by these words that multiply. Solution apologizes for an awkward verse. Excuse my idiotic solutions, I am not an educated verse. Equation with half a solution. 1 1/2 and 2 whole. Met under the brows, and began at once to estimate the cost. In my major key moods, all changes but stones, and now do tell, my lies are all here. Audacious was this one, which by a half makes one, stretched his head to higher, to get a head farther. Within such a whirlpool, quiet as all but turmoil, To disrupt such tension, one and a half to another mentioned. I'm rather crossed with you, one said, looking for meaning in meaningless, losing fate when troubled comes. Tangled in details, you say numb. Dark colors paint you, like guests of anxiety. You go peacefully where they send you. Past threatens with reprisal when memories become rivals. Everyone good has two evils at least. You wear a cowardice mask. Fears call you into task. Nightmares are increased. Done complaining was this one, which by a half makes one, and with a smile on his face, left the one. Suddenly in confusion, lost in instant resolution, left was this equation with half a solution. Mind. Inside my head makes sense, nothing but intelligence, reason turning upside down, twisting mind around, then goes on to a chase to find a different face. Upon a rock it rests, wordless. Fidgeting inside the boots, along the coast it routes, searching for that path inside the skull that drafts. Thought itself to be a bird, gliding through the trees, for when a poet sees a bird, excites beyond belief. Waiter. Walking through the centuries, we have trotted the earth. The sun was our rival, so we closed its eye. We pulled out all the plants, spoiled all the waters, killed and enslaved all around, all that was on the ground. Now everything is done with, we await the waiter. What have we had here? The story of a prophet. I poke my head through silence, like void through a gap. Despair on my eyes takes a seat. Razor watches from the table. Like the slaughtener's fresh meat, my hands right through the air. Words that can sway time. Candle sweats on tabletop. My fingers long, not mine. Wax imitates raindrops. Death lies hidden in a drawer, within my eye already stored. Entirely self-aware, only part of you I seek to share, the story of a prophet. My father gave me life, I stole days from my son, watching naked nymphs. I need just a little strength to crawl back to where I stalled. I poke my head through silence, like void through a gap, blood heavy as if it's ice, bees charging as if it's honey, straight into the web. Prayer. I roll my eyes at the top of the sky, swallow my throat, voice is dead. Vagabond dreams, mildew on bread. Like an ostrich my suitcase I park, stretch my spine, exhale sin in the dark. Churches smell of social sweat. I forget where I buried my head, move on further with the vast skies. Combing the grass, the wind is misled. A limber smile on the priest's face. With elephantine absence God is watching. At the digging dog the globe is laughing. Fire spits his fingers in the brushwood. Fantasy is someone else's, but the bricks are mine, said the wolf and blew the house down. Two idiots. Rails polished by the neck, skull yawns out of the head. From the lime awoken, the first word is spoken. Stretching out from the brackets, says, I'm a head's casket. Nice to meet you, I am son, with a belly that weighs a ton. I will eat out all your fears, watch my breath as it nears. You may know me by another name, here they call me Train. Like a comma in Act 3, bones decide to agree, searching ground for its breath, its evil eyes spelling death. The artist bids adieu, and the ox utters moo, as if done with this land. Speak. Negation no, said yes, between the lines, order is best. So we pair up, 2 by 2, and stood quietly in a queue. Narrow margin we had to retract, walking with our necks erect. The funeral choir kept it bleak, awaiting for someone to speak. To the stoned. The wisdom of ridicule in the mirror, hopeless eternity of the moment, and the very first thought drops on the floor. The television displays interruption. Let there be day. I lift the blinds, and there is an arc. Underneath, the thought is silent. I am silent too. The stone sometimes comes back to the stoned. Megalodons. Released from the cage, unleashed, self-involved old men embark. Gray-haired tigers, tearing apart bearded clouds, with the jaws of megalodons. Godless life, with bony elbows, with meaty souls, did not go easy on them. Their time is here and now. Death is not an option. In the space. Lights pass me by. I step over them too. The last murkiness lets me through, and at dawn I shout out to one-eyed death that, with a wink, leads to a lanky liaison. Festively glows the space of ember-tailed butts. Hushed darkness invites me to devour them with laughter. I'll sidestep that vapid treat, while I knock down the third arm of the biphase stepbrother. The blind voyeur already stares with the window. Scribbling. On the same spot between waters, bored open sea stares. Right at me, the ignorant one. None of the deliberate, wise thoughts led me two-way. I want to be led by a fair way, no way. Put together randomly, the wind scribbles on water, some meaningless imagery, as if someone would halt, to buy a draft a hat. I place the sea in my pockets, sun upon my shoulders. Encounters 1. I gather remains of laughter. The olive-eyed road leads me to the border of the river. Silence in the eyes, encounters with life passing by. No one stops. I define past in 3 layers. Retreat into my brain. Observe. Only when you fall, you realize you walked. You start appreciating the height of the sky and the calming hues. Encounters 5. Voyage. Silence of the extinguished light, objects without color, as they truly are. I'm turning in my bed like a dead man in his grave. The earth turns. I sneak up to heaven like a cloud of smoke, forcefully, prematurely, entirely invisible. Long is the voyage to realize you are nowhere, and that nothing means nothing at all. No countries, no borders, no roads or junctions, no windows left ajar. Encounters with emptiness at every step, like a pointless tale. Loneliness oppresses hard, you cannot stand up straight. You haul time on your back like a man on death row. And death simply waits for someone to apologize for this mess. Awakening. Awakening by the cold flavor of sweat, water on the hot stove at play. Wrinkles collect thoughts into a seed. Coffee is all I can say. Like a puppy before the storm, I catch myself escaping this morn. I understand now why infants wait for Easter to be born. Awakening of a sleepy nation, whores in front of the parliament, innocents seek. Peasants in fury shouting some slogans, out of use and obsolete. Monkeys on masts, flags down the drain. The speaker gave up from his nation's refrains. Each hand holds a finger, each finger holds a noose for each one of us. The bite of the day. I crumpled a piece of night to wrap myself in calm. I'll grant a spoonful of dreams, half an hour to each eye. Let them ride through empty space while I chase out those dark thoughts and get this burden off my chest. Despite all my wanderings, I haven't moved from this spot. Music is challenged over my awakening. With only one eye opened, I greet this fanatic sun, which digests and bites me in its rotten mouth. Wait, earth, you old woman, devil found his face. Aging. I withdraw into the past, while soft music sways. Immense are the waves of a wrinkly sea. Stale wind trails me under weary breath. Not even God cares for it anymore. Dawn lurking from beyond tries to sell that murky sun. I confine myself under the wood skies. A new day has come. Death, I think it resembles. Aging ceased to be. Falling through. Something rolling around in my mouth, but is not a word. Releases memories. Anger is my defense. I conquer the unconsciousness. Thinning light, divided in two. Hidden in a corner of a smirk, smoking orifice consumes clouds. Dawn is having second thoughts, water down the middle. Bashful light blinds me. So close I can smell the finishing line. Wicked past, dragging its feet. Words wiggle around in my mouth. Howl rolls off, my dry tongue. With sticky fingers, glass ceiling extends the gap and delivers day. I roll my eyes at godly silence. Out of the heavens, I'm falling through. Hunger. I am still as a stuffed animal. Into an empty space I stare. I steal a bite. Hunger yawns inside me with a hollow glare. Narrow is bread in narrow vision. Feeble bones I easily eat. I grind the emptiness. Hunger throat is given a brainy treat. Hunchbacked wind has human eyes. Blind sea plucks the clouds. Slow down earth. Unbutton your shirt. Let sunlight hug your ground. The light. Had I been wrapped in curtains, light would have gone numb. This day slouches under the stone sky. I laugh behind my lips. I ingest words. I regain sight. Bare bones exposed through my open mouth. The wall clock stares with a wooden eye. I wait to break down the silence, courting death like a hypochondriac. Hell settles inside murky eyes. Winds of light watch over me. I need soil under my fingers. The sun observes impatiently. I throw it a piece of flesh and bite the dust. The dungeon. Peering pale light, through its trembling touch, caresses the universe in elusive waves. Consumed in a gaze, foreign are blurry eyes that outline a silhouette of a headman before the execution. Intoxicating is the smell of piled-up bodies in this skeletal black hole, detecting each howl as a sleepless dog. Waiting for midnight solitude to come and take what's hers, to embrace her wholeheartedly like a sister. Insanity. I ought to rehearse movement in the dark. Mute walls are narrowing my path. Between the lines, light detects me. I steer silence through wolf's pharynx. It's now swallowed. No one will pass me under the arm of night. Into beastly costume, I dress my spirit. Birds chew it. A hoarse voice of the muted vortex constrains me. I deceive silence. Truth be told, I am not really in trouble. Misleading roads are merely human. I recognize insanity with its arms crossed, inviting into embrace a sordid prey. Now it's my turn to grin back. Metamorphosis. I huddle inside a cocoon, like itches. Eyes of steel belong to a troubled mind. I consume myself within. Shell cracks. Finally, I am a man. Death of a devil. Just down the road, a lone devil stands, wagging its tail joyfully as a familiar beast. I disclose his shape. Behind soundless skyscrapers, day changes its dress. Night as my cape helps me disappear. Gathering round my thoughts, I listen. The whistle of a clumsy train interrupts. I name it music and write down the words, creation mode. Nothing is done till the bullet seals it. I said quietly on the edge of pain. Intimately the crucifix escorts me to the death of a devil. To no one. Again I have wasted hours, writing senseless notes to the blind, telling pointless stories to the deaf, calling all lies to truth, with a language unthinkable to the mute. I called snakes to rise, to gather the dead to arms, and view the eyes of ignorant ghosts who fled their lame half-leg, to lunge their good leg with which, when it grows ears, they will read music that silence sings to, and nourish the old men with the horn of an animal that has no breasts, that gives no milk, and is not named bull? And how could it be, when it has no name, and knows not all the letters of the mute language, which no one created, and how could he create it, if he is no one, and does not speak it?